Yeah, good morning, Amy.
Tell us a little bit about how Next Level Refs came to life. Like, who had the light bulb moment?
Yeah, I guess, look, myself and three other former highly respected A-League and international referees in Ben Williams, Peter Green and Chris Beef, have been thinking for a while now, how can we give back to the game that has, given us so much? We've got over 900 A-League games in experience, so there's plenty of experience there from the grassroots to the top levels of the game. And, two of these guys have, obviously even refereed, have gone to the pinnacle and refereed at World Cup. So plenty of experience. So we thought, what can we do? We haven't been, involved in refereeing for a couple of years now. I know that's hard to believe. And with, over 12,000 registered referees in Australia and 99% of them, from the grassroots to the semi-professional, we thought we need to do something. So, Next Level Refs was born.
So what sort of gap are you hoping to fill? Obviously, you get your tickets through the formal channels, through your association or through courses run by our national organisation. What gap are you hoping to fill?
Yeah, I guess it's a good point. We want to complement what the states or associations are doing. We want to, our experience. I've mentioned there are over 900 games, all FIFA and AFC referees been to the elite level. We want to pass on our experience to those referees and hear some war stories, but also practical refereeing, which I think is important. Basic stuff that we need to get, match officials to take on board. Unfortunately, most of the time, match officials do their introductory course, and there's basically, here's your whistle, here's your flag, go do your best, and that's the issue at the moment.
Well, you've certainly all officiated on some of football's biggest stages, as we've mentioned. So how does that experience then translate into a coaching approach?
Yeah, look, I think we get phone calls regularly, and probably this is part of it. Constantly get phone calls of how can you help, how can you support us? Really interested in some of your stories, etc., etc. So those phone calls are regular. Every couple of days. So we thought, well, here's an opportunity to come together and let's pass on our experience to that group. And look, we're not interested in the elite side of the game. I think that's well resourced at the moment. This is an area that needs some support. So, I think it's a really good market for us.
And we often hear about the pressure referees face in the moment, on and off the field, to make the right decisions, but also the abuse that referees cop. How does the program address some of those challenges?
Yeah, look, we're going to be running a whole host of, sessions moving forward, which are going to cover many, many different topics in refereeing, which include player management and, fitness and positioning, et cetera, et cetera. And one of those is obviously dealing with the pressures, dealing with, some abusive parents, players, et cetera. So I think it's just giving the match officials the tools or practical advice on how to deal with these types of situations. We're never going to stamp that out of the game, regardless of what administrators may do or say. It's just, unfortunately, part of the game because it's passion, and I know you understand that. The football's a game of passion, so things are said, etc., etc. But referees or match officials need the tools to be able to deal with them.
And resilience is probably a big factor there, Streb. I can imagine, at times the referee is the villain or maybe even, as you will have felt, football fans' most hated man for a moment.
Yeah, I think I probably gave the worst decision in A-League history. I think it was reported at the time or whatever. But look, I know there's talk of VAR, etc. now, and a whole host of other bits and pieces. But look, I think referees are like the players. They're in the game because they love the game. There's nothing better than refereeing at the highest level or in front of big crowds. No different to players. So, match officials love being part of the game.
You mentioned VAR because it has been one of the biggest talking points in modern football. What's your take on the impact? Do you think it's improved the game, Streb?
Yeah, no doubt. If you go back to the reasons why VAR was introduced. VAR was introduced because of the howler. and referees, when I was refereeing at the time, I didn't have VAR. So you mentioned, I wish I had VAR at the time where I could fix some of my errors. But look, it's like everything; it's not perfect, and if humans are running, it's not a computer program. Humans are running it, and it's a lot of grey area in football, which is why you're never going to get perfect. And if people expect perfection, well, they're being unrealistic in this space.
People also might not realise, Strebre, how fit referees need to be. Can you give us a little bit of insight into the physical demands and the training of the job?
Oh, yeah, look, I think, just to give an example, when I was refereeing, I'd be doing 11 to 14 kilometres a game. Because if like players, they have certain positions, and yes, they're running, but referees need to be on one end of the field and then do maybe a 80-yard sprint to get to the other end to adjudicate on a penalty, or a goalkeeper kicks the ball out of the hands and it goes 60 yards, and referees need to make that distance up to adjudicate on certain decisions. So yes, it's very demanding, and majority of referees train throughout the week to prepare for their games. No different to players.
Why do people decide to become refs, Streb?
Yeah, look, I think 99% of match officials, join the game at, early ages of 14, 15, 16, in particular because, they get a bit of extra pocket money or good pocket money at that stage, and then it's just a matter of, do they continue on or they drop out. But, during that time, a lot of referees are still playing in the junior years. And then, have to make a decision at some stage. And I know I did at 18 years old, where I was still playing and refereeing, that you have to make a decision which way you want to go if you want to take your career to another level. So, yeah, look, that's probably the main reason why referees get involved. But then in the later years, a lot of people and ex-players, etc., get involved, stay involved because they can't play anymore. The physical demands of that. Yet refereeing is also a really good alternative because they still have an understanding of the game.
One of the most controversial parts of the game is always the red card. Do you remember the first time you gave out a red card?
Yes, I do. It was actually my first ever A-League game that I gave my red card at that level, obviously, and thankfully it was the correct decision.
This time, no VAR check needed for that one, Streb.
No VAR.
All right, a fantastic new initiative, and for anyone who's listening that wants to get involved, whether they're a referee or they're just interested in what you're doing or becoming a referee, how can they find you, and what's the best way to get started?
Yeah, look, thanks, Amy. If people just go to our socials on Next Level Refs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, we've been running a whole host of podcasts, I guess. If people can visit those pages, they'll get a good understanding of what we're about and what we're doing. Particularly our first episode will explain everything, what we're trying to achieve here. So, I encourage everyone to go there. And like you said, don't have to even be referees. It just really gives a good insight. And, we had a guest speaker on the other day in Beck, Rebecca Durkow, who's done amazing stuff in the profession of refereeing done amazing for women's football and football in general. So, really good insight, and we're going to be doing this throughout the initiative in getting people on, from coaches, players, administrators, media, to give a different perspective on the game, which I think is also on refereeing, which I think is also very important.
A 360-degree view, just like a referee who apparently has eyes in the back of their head. Strebre Delovski, thank you so much for your time. And to anyone out there with 900 National League games, stints at FIFA World Cups, Olympics and AFC finals between them, these guys appear, at least from the outside, to know what they're really on about. And I think if you're talking football, you're doing a great thing, Streb.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.